vanilla tech order and have to wait quite a while for your full screen clearing techs. Sounds like my voice might be a little low, I'm hearing in chat. Not sure if I can do much with that on my end.
I could turn down my voice. So we're starting with Magus and Luca. So like I said, those are two great casters. So as long as they get the right tech.
Yeah, Magus is a particularly nice character to start with in the early game. Just because he has such high attack power, especially in the early stages where like with your base weapons, Luca's little pea shooter in the beginning could take a while to kill things, but Magus's scythe, even though it's been nerfed a little bit from vanilla, is still just very powerful. We see some basic standard routing at the start, checking some of the open checks, checking some chests, getting some menu setups, and let's see what we have at Snail Stop.
Yeah, you get
gate key.
Wow, a gate key. Now you get to check two things at the very beginning for free. And another thing you're going to want to be doing in the early game, which we'll watch our runners do here, is basically you want to pick up shelters, ethers, just basic consumable items. See Future going for mid tonics here. And Dr. Cossack is checking his second free check.
That's right. You'll notice if you get a chance to look at the shops, some item prices have been modified from vanilla. And we got a bent hilt. So things like shelters and revives are a little more expensive. Things like ethers and mid tonics are a little bit cheaper, sort of to discourage people from just buying a stack of shelters cheap in the beginning. And just never having to worry about healing again. Can't hear me at all now. Really? Just try and drop out of here and come back in. I don't know. I'll be right back.
All right, so while we wait for that, we say Dr. Cossack, obviously, going into Cathedral. You're going to get your third character here. And if you choose to complete the Yakra battle, you will get your fourth. Meanwhile, Future is at the shop in Medina. This is going to get you 5 levels right away when you beat this fight.
All right, I am back. How's that? Any better?
Yes, they are only a few minutes in, and they do have 2 free checks at the very beginning. Well, by free, I mean one does cost 9,900 gold, but...
free is a relative term.
Yeah, on my end here on Discord, I can hear Angarel perfectly fine. So...
yeah, I turned up my volume for my mic, so it should be a little bit louder. Hopefully that's better. Anyone in chat can kind of let me know.
And it looks like Dr. Cossack has picked up Chrono.
Yeah, so
And FutureForce has picked up that broken hilt now, so that's good. That's an item that you can combine it with the broken sword, And in the randomizer, one difference from vanilla is you do not need the Dreamstone to forge the Mass Immune. So as soon as you get those 2 sword pieces, you're able to forge the Mass Immune and collect the character that's hiding in Frog's Burrow. And if you happen to have Frog at that point, you will gain access to 12,000 BC through Magus's castle. So
have we talked any about the significance of the gate key and end of time access? Also,
yeah.
like my microphone at this point.
Future is well, he's using the gate key now. Yeah, sorry, Cossack has as well. Although he's there a little earlier, as you can see, because he's still getting the little frog Specchio. But they're and Future has frog Specchio as well. They're both here very early, so they're here to learn magic, which will unlock your 4th tech on your character and beyond. So by default, your game gives you your first 3 techs for every character, although you do have to slowly learn them, and there are a few things to that. But for Luca, for Chrono, for Marl and Frog, they all have to learn magic before they can learn past their 3rd tech. Magus, Robo, and Ayla, they will continue learning techs without learning magic, because as we all know, they can't.
Yeah, which is a little bit of a shame, but with Tech Rando, you never really know. There are times where Tech Rando is just so kind to you, it gives you all the best stuff right off the bat, and you never really have to worry about going to end of time for magic.
It is known to happen. It is known to happen. And you have to be familiar with your character. One example I'll give is if your Marl learns Life 2, Ice 2, and Haste for her first 3 techs,
you're done.
She does not need to learn magic. Yeah. Because those are the only 3 you're ever going to use. So.
Yeah, that gives her access to her best dual techs. Those are her best single techs, so for sure. Always a good time when you get that lucky with the tech randomizer. All right, so both characters at this point have unlocked magic. Looks like Future is talking to the Knight Captain. This is a bit of a route optimization. You have to talk to the Knight Captain to do the Xenon Bridge check, so may as well do it while you're on your way to Cathedral, rather than have to come back later and waste some time with it.
That's right, and they've Future has caught up quite a bit, it looks like. Although he still hasn't quite. Yeah, he's about to get his 3rd character here, which we will see is Chrono. And I guess we'll watch them have a little cathedral race. It'll be nice.
Oh, did Luca start with Flare? Wow. That's incredible. Why can't I roll seeds for myself like this?
Yeah. That's one of those things that we were saying is if you get the perfect tech early on, you may not need to learn magic. You may be satisfied, but we'll see how he plays this.
Yeah, now Future is going to have to go back to the end of time if he wants to unlock magic for Chrono as well. That is one nice thing about what Dr. Cossack did, grabbing Chrono first.
That's right. And it's not quite as painful because the second time you go back, you can obviously use the epic time machine, but again, it will put him behind, and he probably will want to do that. But he might save it for after he gets his 4th character, and then you might see them both go back anyways. So
this is true. So the 4th character is in Guardia Castle, 600 AD. It is in the vanilla game where you would get Marl back after rescuing Queen Lean. Alternately, because they have the gate key, they could also go to prehistory, to Dactyl Nest, where you would get Ayla before going to Tyranno Lair, and pick up yet another character. The final characters being in Frog's Burrow, requiring both halves of the Masamune and the Forged Sword to get and the last one being in Protodome in 2300 AD.
That's right. And while it's never necessary to have all characters, there are a couple that you may need. Those two are Marl and Robo. And that's because they're at the center of a key item quest and check. So for Robo, it's the desert and the retinite fight and the Fiona's garden thing, her forest. That's going to unlock a key item. So you need Robo for that. And Marl unlocks the King's Trial, the Prism Shard quest, the Yakra 13 battle, etc. Without those characters, you cannot do those. So those are the only real essential characters, but only sometimes.
Yeah, you may, in rare cases, also have a frog required seed if your access to Dark Ages is through Magus's castle.
That's correct.
That's
possible.
That's not common.
It's possible, even rarer, and quite a headache when it happens.
Indeed. So yeah, they're both just kind of making short work of the cathedral, heading through. This is not a terribly challenging check, especially with an early Magus.
Yeah, and a Luca with Flare. That should just one-shot everything if they choose to even fight.
Yeah, so one of the downsides, of course, to getting the extremely late and powerful techs this early is the MP cost. Flare will still cost 20 magic points to cast, even though you got it first. So you'll find yourself relying a lot on ethers to, pick up your MP between battles. But the upside being, well, you only have to cast it once. You may only be able to, but you only have to.
Very true, very true. From the looks of it, Future is very willing to throw ethers at Luca and just use it over and over, so...
Yeah, it's not a bad
Dr.
strategy.
Cossack, a little more conservative with his item usage at this point, and he may not have quite as many ethers. I when I peeked in his inventory there, I don't know if I saw any, but could be wrong.
Yeah, so of course, with a gate key at Snail Stop, you end up with the situation that, well, you start with 20,000 gold, and you have now paid about half of that gold for one key item. So now you have the decisions to make. What consumables do you want? Ethers and mid-tonics are usually right at the top of the list, just because, like you're seeing now, with Tech Rando, it's so easy to burn through MP fast.
Yeah, and
you want a couple of shelters.
Future is really kind of saving time by actually having those ethers. Even though it takes extra time to menu every time, heal her up, and go into the next fight, he's just going to annihilate and catch up. So
yeah, the fights are just so fast, even with being slow.
You can't be afraid to use your best techs and maybe use a lot of ethers to keep them going. I know when I played this, vanilla originally, I was always pretty conservative about the tech I used, and I didn't necessarily go through nuking everything with my best spell all the time, but it works well in Jets.
Oh yeah, it's one of those things where the game hands you like mid-ethers or hyper-ethers and tells you, okay, these are really good, they're relatively rare, but use them when you really need them. And my response was, yes, I will hoard them like a dragon hoards treasure. Don't worry.
Yes.
Finish the game with giant stacks of these things and massively overlevel and auto-attack everything to death because I was afraid to cast the big spells and use items.
I think it's a common experience out there.
Yeah, but as you see, Dr. Cossack luminarying down Yakra, he has no inhibitions about using the big spells.
None whatsoever. And, we'll see where they branch off after this, because we're going to have maybe a few little mini races to watch during this race. And in this cathedral mini race, Future has caught up quite a bit. I'm very impressed.
Yeah, he's really tearing through Cathedral. And honestly, I don't see his Yakra fight taking any longer either, between, Magus with his powerful auto attacks at this point, and Flare, and it looks like Luminaire. So Actually, thinking of it, Future may not have Luminaire yet. So one interesting thing that happens when you go to End of Time with a gate key that early, you are automatically given your first 3 techs. So he may not have learned all 3 techs naturally here. Yeah, so
Right,
in
which
chat,
it could slow him down a little, but he'll be fine, of course.
Oh yeah, he'll be just fine. So we're getting a question in chat about whether this is glitchless. This is a glitchless run. The things like the unequip glitch, the save anywhere glitch, those have been patched out with this flag set. You know, it is a flag, so if you do want to run a glitched run, absolutely feel free. There are people that really enjoy that, though for the standard race set, we typically run glitchless. And of course, I don't actually know how to do any of those glitches, so if we ever do a glitched race, I'm hopeless.
Maybe one day there'll be enough players interested. There's just kind of a small section of players who want to play with glitches, and it's not as popular, but as more people join up in the community, you know, we could get some races going on that allow glitches. That would be very interesting.
Oh yeah, for sure. I know we have several players that do like to play with glitches. Like I said, I never learned them. But
I know a lot of the glitches, a lot of the skips and stuff, but I find that when I play, I'll have glitches on, so they're available, but I won't use them because I'm actually more interested in just killing a boss fast and seeing what he drops. Because if you don't do that, you don't get very good gear. And
that's true. The way the key items are structured in this game, if you skip too many bosses, I think there are some key items that you would also miss in the process.
And like the gear that's available that can drop is literally at times the most godly pieces of gear in the entire game.
So, I've seen Yakra drop a rainbow before, exactly. So yeah, for sure. It's a very small chance, but it can happen.
And once you have, like, if you have, say, Nova or Moon Armor, Rainbow, Prism Specs, this can happen. It's fairly common if you look in enough places. That's going to beat an unequipped glitch anyways, in terms of defense and damage output.
Okay, yeah, I will take your word for that, because like I said, glitches, I'm a noob. I don't know them. Don't really know their effects too well.
Yeah, I'm a novice. We'll put it that way.
Well, that's definitely a step above noob, so I'll take it. Here we go. Future's heading to the future. That's a fun one. To the end of time to get Chrono his magic. Oh, Dr. Cossack going to Reptite Lair. So Reptite Lair, if you're ever in a tight spot and you need some levels quick, this room right here is fantastic. AoE techs will typically take the Evil Weevils down really fast. They're great experience. Decent tech points. So this is a pretty popular grind spot if you get a super early go mode and just need a few levels.
Yeah, and you have the healing hut just north, and it's easy to grind here, yes.
He may not actually realize, so you don't even have to leave Reptite Lair. I think you just have to walk out of the room and back in, and they'll respawn. Right. Yeah, it looked like he was walking out and back in. But yeah, like I said, just a quick fight, especially with higher level techs, Luminaire, Fire 2, Ice 2, and the experience here is fantastic.
We have Future Force going to Xenon Bridge here.
He is. Let us see what the chef has for them today. So this is another key item check after you talk to the Knight Captain. In vanilla, you would talk to the chef, and he would give you jerky as rations for the troops at the front lines. Here, you wait for this dialogue to finish. If you leave early, it interrupts the scene. And he runs up and gives you... What does he give us?
He got a bent sword.
Ooh.
So I'm guessing he's going to keep it because he knows he has the hilt. Yeah, it looks like, and you do complete this entire sequence and defeat Zombor in order to keep your key item. So until he does that, I'm going to keep it off the tracker maybe. No, it's on. It's fine. He's fine. I mean, he will defeat Zombor.
Yeah, I went ahead and clicked it on, but
I would be shocked if he didn't.
He'll have no trouble with Zombor with this party.
And we'll have no trouble taking it away if he loses it.
I mean, I could take it away even if he keeps it if you want.
No, that wouldn't be fair.
Yeah, fair. So, this is our first real bit of route divergence here. I wonder... So it looks like Dr. Cossack has his characters up to about level 13. Yeah. That's actually not too bad. You can probably take out, especially with a lightning tech.
He's getting close, and he probably could do it, but it would be a close fight. He might go to 14 or 15 levels, but I believe it's clear at this point he's going to fight in Isabel after, and
it would make sense.
Hopefully he gets a good drop for it, because sometimes, this is a good spot. You can grind, you can get a high level, and then you get a key item. But you miss out on quicker checks. It just takes a long time. So sometimes doing it in a race, I opt out of it personally for that reason.
That makes sense.
But if you have like boss scaling on, for example, that's another flag you can turn on that it makes bosses nearly impossible at the levels you're used to playing them at. Then you really are doing a lot more grinding. You're going to find yourself in here for quite a long time.
Yeah, boss scaling is an interesting flag. It's not typically used in races or tournament type games that will scale bosses up proportional to how much progression they are blocking. So you could end up with some very, very strong bosses. We have a question in chat. Are enemy weaknesses also randomized? Enemy weaknesses are not randomized, but some enemy attack patterns have been changed slightly, and we can talk a little more about those as we get to them. But for the most part, with some stat tweaking, the bosses are about what you're used to from vanilla. Looked like we got a Fire 2 from Magus over on Dr. Cossack's screen. These early AoE techs are just fantastic. Tech Randomizer in general was a pretty interesting change. So prior to Tech Rando being implemented, of course, techs were just vanilla, which meant that you were really excited to see an early Magus, because his earlier techs were, of course, the Fire 2, Lightning 2, and Ice 2, and that was your earliest chance of getting big AoE techs. Now with the Tech Randomizer, that levels the playing field a bit more. As you see, Luca got Flare right off the bat. So you start to see a lot more early party combinations become not just viable, but even really desirable.
Yeah, compared to Eternal Darkness, the characters they're way less randomized, right? I believe in Eternal Darkness, like every stat they have can be completely randomized, so you can end up being like Luca with like 2 magic, and so she's basically useless. So it's not quite as randomized. However, it is open world, which I know Eternal Darkness.
I think it's Eternal Nightmare is the...
Eternal Nightmare is the randomizer. Eternal Darkness, I think, is the new name for Crimson Echoes or something like that, if I recall correctly.
I'm not sure.
Which was a fan-made sequel, which I'm not very familiar with.
So I wasn't looking. Did Dr. Cossack nope out of prehistory and go to Hecarim?
He did do that. Yes, he leveled up enough, I guess, so that it would just be a slam dunk.
Yeah, okay. So Hecarim is an interesting check. So you don't get a key item directly from this check. But if you remember from vanilla, after you take the whirlpool from the mountain back over to Truce, you end up right by Luca's house. Well, in this, you walk into Luca's house, you talk to Tabin, and he gives you the key item. And of course, that only becomes available after you've defeated Hecarim. This cave, most of the enemies in here are susceptible to magic, not so much to physical attacks. So he's, you see Dr. Cossack there is relying pretty heavily on fire too. That may have been what he was after.
Yeah, it looks like as soon as he learned fire too, as soon as he learned fire too, he headed straight for Hecarim.
Yeah, it looks like Future's doing some shopping.
It's a good economical way to get through here easily. Because he has Luminaire and Flare, but...
Yeah, economical they are not.
Not very many ethers.
Oh yeah, Future picking up that slasher. So the Ioka Hut actually had a pretty decent weapon. Slasher giving Chrono a +2 speed boost.
Yeah, that's huge.
That his speed is such a powerful stat in this randomizer.
It really is. If you can stay ahead of the enemy, turn cycles, makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it makes it easier to run, makes it easier to fight.
Speed is just better in a speed run in general, so.
You speak wisdom, Brocky. I should listen to you more often.
Yeah. So now we see Future at the same grind spot there. Wonder how long he'll grind for, if he'll head right in, because he knows he has Luminaire and Flare, and whoa, he's doing quite a bit of damage, so.
Yeah, so then the question...
Pretty confident.
Then the question becomes, does he even bother much with Luminaire and deal with the lightning counter, or just use Magus and Chrono to throw ethers at Luca?
I wonder. It's a good question.
Well, it looks like he might be doing some grinding too.
There's a lot of mid tonics, so if he does choose to fight Nisbel here, he's at least going to be able to stay alive. It's a fight you really can't go into without at least mid tonics. Ideally, you want something like, Aura Beam or a good strong magic heal.
Yeah, Nisbel, he's not a huge threat if you keep on top of the healing, but if you let yourself fall behind and you get here a little bit too early, he can wreck your day.
Yeah, it's a good example of wanting speed. If you had a team with low speed and no lightning attacks, he could really take over.
Mm-hmm. And yes, Corinth aptly reminding us that the seed is indeed on fire.
Yes, it is, yes.
As we're watching flares go off simultaneously on both screens. Oh, did Magus just learn Dark Matter? I was not looking. That, of course, being Magus's strongest tech. That's a pretty good find. And
Dr. Cossack has found the Prism Shard, which, of course, unlocks the King's Trial quest. In vanilla, that's when they pull the rainbow shell into the castle, and of course, you go to 1000, and he's been accused of stealing from it or whatever. Is stealing it or stealing from it? I mean, it's still in the castle basement. I've never been clear on the details of that trial, but
yeah, well, it was a Yakra plot.
They accuse him of stealing something that he owned and has. But anyway, he can't actually go there until he has Marl. So
that's right. Actually, so this is something I've never tried. Can you trigger the first part, like give them the rainbow shell, or does that also require Marl? I've just never even tried it until I've had both. But it looks like Dr. Cossack is doing the bridge.
It's a good question. It's a good question.
I should try that someday, just to see what happens.
Yeah, whether you can get as far as the trial doors, and then you need Marl to scream so that she lets the guards let you through. That's the whole point of needing her.
Right, which is why I'm just not sure if...
You may be able to get to that point without her, but yeah, requires testing.
Does. Okay, looks like he's actually going to be keeping the blade, so I'll go ahead and get that marked. There we go. And Future's on his way into Nisbel. Oh, gets caught by the winged ape.
Yeah,
those things are just
They are very rough. That's one of the roughest encounters in the game, and they're very resistant to magic attacks. As you can see, even a flare doesn't one-shot him.
Yeah, their magic defense is insane. And they counterattack a lot by either throwing your characters or their own allies at you.
Yeah, your best bet with them is strong physical attack. I'm wondering if anyone's going to check Frog's Burrow. So Future might, do Heckran next, say. He might think, I might need Marl. So we'll see how they play this. Very interesting seed.
It is. It is. So, of course, I've looked at the spoiler log, so I know at least a little bit of what's coming up, and I'm interested to see how they route this. Don't worry, no spoilers. I won't say anything.
Yeah, I did not see the spoiler log, so keeps it spicy, keeps it interesting.
It does. So something I never knew in vanilla that you're seeing here now, if you attack Ozzy 3 times on the bridge, his spell is broken and the skeletons go away. I didn't learn that till I started playing the randomizer. I always thought you had to nuke down the skeletons.
Yeah, same here. That was something I learned, last year, say.
Yeah, there's so many little tricks and things that I just never knew until I started playing the randomizer and watching other people play the randomizer.
Yeah, that's right. And even the vanilla speedruns have changed a lot in the last few years, more than I thought. And I started watching, a few streamers who play that. And you can learn a lot from that as well. So, but they watch us too.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Dr. Cossack has a pretty good strategy there. Oh, maybe not, because Flare is going to heal the top half of Zombie.
Oh yeah. So it looks like he kind of alternated Luminaire, Dark Matter, and then Flare kind of swapped healing back and forth.
At least the bottom is dead now, but it is, you can, start with a shadow attack, say, and then you can kill the top half very quickly after that, and then switch. But it's not going to matter much because he has a good, strong team.
Yeah, coming here a little bit later, this guy's no threat, though killing the legs first will make him enrage a little bit and use that Doom attack.
Yeah. But of course, he's completely fine. Defeat Sombor easily, and we go over to Future's fight with Nisbel. Seems to be going fine.
Yeah, seems to be. I noticed he was opening up with a Luminaire to drop the defense. And of course, putting some pretty heavy reliance on Flare.
Yeah, takes care of Nisbel, no problem.
It does. Oh, and Dr. Cossack going to Denadoro. Run away. All right. Let's see what Future's key item is after he, stops gaining levels.
Oh, he kind of got juked out with the Robo's ribbon. It's merely an accessory for Robo that it does boost his stats well, but it unfortunately leads to no progression towards Lavos.
Right. So in vanilla, you'll remember in the Genodome sequence where you're given Atropos ribbon. It's not actually a physical item that you get. It's just a text box that lets you know that, hey, by the way, Robo's speed and magic defense, maybe. A couple of his stats, its speed and one other, are boosted by getting the ribbon that interfaces with your circuits.
Right.
Whereas in the randomizer, it's actually been turned into a real key item with real stat benefits, giving Robo, of course, the effect of sight scope, auto barrier, and sunshades. To compensate a little bit for that, in the randomizer, all of the characters who would normally start with a base speed of 6, which I believe is Luca, Robo, and maybe Marl, her speed is pretty low to start, have instead been bumped up to a starting speed of 8.
I don't think Future has Robo.
I thought he did get Robo, but I could be wrong. But we shall see.
I wasn't so sure, but I was watching him menu and didn't see Robo in there whatsoever.
Yeah, we can take a look. I may have just, prematurely clicked that.
Yeah, but correct. Yeah, Robo was at Dactyl Nest?
Robo was in the castle.
Oh, Robo's in the castle. He must have gotten that then. Yeah, I'll just click it for now.
Yeah, absolute
Very
worst case
professional
for lawyers.
operation here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. And as always, chat is here to keep us honest. I have never once known chat to shirk away from that duty.
Turn against the tracker.
Hey, dummy, you forgot to click item.
This is rigged.
And again, Future also just tearing through Hecarins with, loads of, at this point, cheap AoE magic.
Yeah, and since Dr. Cossack did not fight Nisbel, it's hard to say, where they are now. They've both been making good progression, but they have split paths, and so they're going to come together a little bit later.
Yeah, for sure. So I always like seeing that in races, though, where you have a seed that's open enough that the two runners can sort of make their own choices. Their paths can diverge a bit. You don't see just this linear seed on both sides of the screen.
Yeah, we're at a point where it's anyone's game. Absolutely. I mean, it was like that from the start, but
and it's still that way now.
There's no clear way to gauge just how far ahead either one of them could be.
Yeah, especially so far from Go mode at this point. So I guess now would be a decent time to talk about what exactly is Go mode in this game. So there are two distinct paths to Lavos through end dungeons with kind of 3 ways to get to them. So in the end, we are running with the Z flag, the Zeal 2 flag today, so you can beat either Zeal 2 or Lavos to end the game. To do that, you can go through either Black Omen or Ocean Palace. If you opt to go for the Ocean Palace route, you can get the Gate Key, giving you access to prehistory, the Dreamstone, letting you go through Tyranno Lair, and the Ruby Knife, giving you access to Ocean Palace. Alternately, if you have Frog and you reforge the Masamune, you can go through Magus's castle to the Dark Ages, and then use the Ruby Knife to gain access to the Ocean Palace to fight Lavos. The final way is by having the Pendant, which is access to the future, and then having both the Clone and the Chrono Trigger, which lets you access Death Peak. Once you beat Death Peak, it raises the Black Omen, and you can fight your way through to Zeal 2 through there. If you're not running with the Zeal 2 flag on, then after you fight Zeal 2, you then have to go fight Lavos.
Yeah, a while back there was they added a Z flag so that it would sort of balance things out, because the Black Omen is quite a bit of a long trek, and
It really is.
so it does add quite a bit of time to have to then fight Lavos as well. Zeal 2 is difficult enough. And if you're in a race and your opponent reaches Lavos and you're going through the Black Omen, it just unbalances the ending. So we always run with the Z flag on in races, and pretty much always. Unless I really want to punish myself.
So I didn't notice it. Did Future get the pendant? It is lit up on the tracker. I don't recall him getting it, though.
Don't think so. Must have been a misclick.
It's right next to the rainbow shell. Not a surprise. It happens. So at this point, Future has just gotten the Masamune reforged. He can now go to Frog's Burrow and find the character. And Procky, were you aware mountains are nice?
It's nice to be there.
Oh yeah, beautiful scenery. And of course, Dr. Cossack harassing the poor Killwalla. He gets a magic tab out of it though, so it's kind of worth it.
Yep.
Did he get a prism helm? Yeah, so one other nice thing about reforging the Masamune is you can stop by Luca's house again and talk to Tabin, and he will give you a relatively high tier item. In fact, there are two different items that you can get from him. The first one being from reforging the Masamune, and the second one from charging up the Sunstone.
Is that right, eh? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So if you ever have to do those quests, Vanilla Frog. So yeah, if you ever and a reset. If you ever have to do those quests that require either the Masamune or the Sunstone, you can just go pick up some nice free loot.
Future Force was absolutely disappointed by finding Frog there.
Yeah, he did not seem happy with that.
He may come to regret not just picking him up. Because like I said, and like you said, he can give you a path to Lavos, and sometimes it's required. So by the time we see what Dr. Cossack gets after Masamune here.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what, whether or not he regrets that decision later on. And of course, Moon Blizzard. Firstly, the Robo's ribbon was at Nizbel in Reptite Lair. And Moon is also, wishing a Mount Woe required seed. Yeah, it looks like Dr. Cossack is, his stream is lagging a little bit. We're getting the slideshow. jetsoftime.pptx. This should be a pretty fast fight, though, especially by now. He did some grinding. He went through Denadoro. He went through Hekrans. He's pretty strong.
Yep, absolutely. Right, that's something I try to mention that as often as possible, because it does confuse new players to this. You do not need the Dreamstone to forge the Masamune in this. Just need the 2 sword pieces.
Yeah, so Melchior is absolutely a pal. He keeps a spare Dreamstone just hanging out in his basement. And he will happily let you use it to reforge the sword.
Apparently, yes. For any other purpose, though, no.
No, you want that thing so you can get through Tyranno Lair? Good luck. Oh, and the tools.
He likes making really cool swords, but he's not really interested in saving the world, so.
Yeah, it's a supply and demand thing.
That's right. Wow. So now with Dr. Cossack finding the tools, correct me if I'm wrong, but now they could still check desert because they do have robo.
Yes.
So that's one more to go.
So at this point, I think that's pretty much all they've got left. They've got desert, and they've got the frog through Magus's castle play.
Yep.
So this is where we get to see just how mean this seed is. You may have noticed on Future's screen when he reset his game, the seed name is actually I'm sorry, don't hate me.
Is that the actual seed name that you rolled with?
That is the seed name that I rolled with.
Oh,
I'm sorry, don't hate me. We'll see how that works out for me.
Well, it makes it spicy, and I'm excited to see what Dr. Cossack finds now at Ret Night.
Yeah, it looks like he's taken some of these fights. So these fights are great experience, especially if you have the AoE magic tech to do them, because these enemies can hurt a bit. Yeah, so like chat's saying, depending on what this is, this could force a Mount Woe required seed, which I was specifically asked to not have a Mount Woe required seed. Of course, I don't have that level of control over the randomizer, so...
Sure, you just rolled one seed and then uploaded it.
Yeah.
That's how you keep it random, so... It's good to see that on the right side of our screen here, we're out of the slideshow mode.
Yeah, for sure.
And Ret Knight's coming up. He can be dealt with pretty easily if you have an ice or water based attack and then some strong physical attacks. The only thing you don't want to do is attack the eyeball, of course.
Yeah, so if you attack that core, he just enrages and gets even stronger. Horrifyingly enough, I looked something up when I was playing through the Steam version of this, and on one of the wiki sites, I think I was looking up the differences in names between some of the bosses, and it brought me to a wiki site. And the strategy listed in that site was, kill the core first. And it just horrified me a little bit.
That's some sick person wrote that.
Yeah, kill the core first and make sure that you have someone with extremely powerful AoE healing spells. And I'm just like, but why? Why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah. I guess technically you could eventually win that way. So it's a kind of strategy.
It's a strategy. So yeah, basically you want to hit this guy with some sort of water-based magic, ice or water, that will lower his defense, and then you can just, whittle him down with physical attacks. If you kill the core, his defense actually continues to increase every time you hit him, I believe, unless you then hit him again with water magic. You do definitely want to try and kill the core, but you want to kill it last, because that core is worth 2,000 experience and a chunk of tech points.
Yeah, and it can be a difficult thing to achieve because it likes to run away as fast as it can. So if
This is true.
If you're out of turns and it's trying to run away, yeah, good luck. So it's nice to save one attacker save.
That's a fair point. Yeah, we got simultaneous boss battles going on.
Yeah, as you can see, he had some turns saved, so he was able to kill that eyeball really quick.
But I mean, 4,000 experience, 40 tech points. That's solid gains at this point.
Very solid.
So in the randomizer, Gloom Cape. Gloom Cape, yeah, that was a good find. It's good armor for Magus. A lot of the enemies' experience point drops were reworked to just kind of fit the level of speed that sort of flows well going through this. You don't have to do a whole lot of grinding, at least not typically.
That's true. That is essentially what inspired the style of this randomizer and sort of some of the nerfing of some of the bosses is just so that you don't have to spend your whole time grinding. It can really bore up the experience. So the idea is that you should be able to play all the way through without having to grind.
Yeah. And of course, I mean, you'll always hit these situations, rando gonna rando, where grinding is necessary if you get a really early go mode. But usually I don't have to do too much grinding in an average seed.
Yeah.
Looks like Dr. Cossack doing some shopping. Fun fact, this shop in Fiona's Shrine is one of 2 locations in the game that will sell guaranteed lapis.
That's right. And the other one is Fritz's shop.
Hashtag save Fritz.
Hashtag save Fritz. That's right. So Fritz is the guy in the gallows in the prison during the pendant quest. So if you go out of your way to save him, he will give you mid-ethers and open up a shop that will always sell lapises and can also sell the best gear in the game. So thank goodness this maybe isn't the worst seed we've seen in a race so far.
Yeah, and folks, ignore the paradox. Nothing to see here. It's fine. Totally okay. 2 robos on screen at the same time is perfectly normal. So it looks like Future is now going to do his check. I need to track that. Oh, somebody got that for me.
We're helping each other now.
Yeah, it's showing up on my tracker screen. I'm not seeing it on the actual tracker. I'm going to go ahead and toggle that.
And now we're both just clicking on it.
I haven't yet, but we'll see. Who knows? Tracker might be eating input. Maybe it just hates me. I know these players probably do at this point.
Well, hey, at least they're both about to get access to the future, and they'll be able to keep moving without needing to go through Magus's castle.
This is true. This seed actually did have a pendant pendant available very early. They've just been putting this check off for a while.
Yeah. But yeah, as a player of this, when you've gone through that many checks and you see no path to Lavos, you start getting nervous and thinking, oh boy, you know what I do have though? Both pieces of the sword and frog.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's always a thing that most players will leave for the end.
Yeah,
You don't typically see people rushing to do Magus's castle.
No, but to be fair, if you did get those required items and frog early, it's not that long of a route. We've had players prove that.
Oh yeah,
So-
I think Moon just did that in a race not too long ago where he rushed Magus's castle really early and set himself up pretty nicely in that race.
Yeah. But if, again, like in most seeds, you leave that to the end and then it's going to just add way too much time. But if you leave it to the end and you need it, I guess it's your own fault. I don't know.
Yeah. So, folks, sorry, for some reason we are not seeing the pendant on the tracker. It has been clicked. Oops. But we all know in our hearts that Dr. Cossack has the pendant. Looks like Future doing some looting here before he fights, or did he already fight the boss? Did he kill it that fast? I didn't even notice him kill Retinite. That was fast.
I suppose he did. You're right. That was fast. That was very fast. So he's going to have the pendant now. And I'll just click it now to see what happens. Oh, shows up for him. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Huh. Interesting.
There we go.
Hey, it worked.
Much better. Dr. Cossack is coming right up on Dragon Tank here.
Yeah, think he'll get the Dragon Tank skip?
Only if he tries. But then again, people have gotten it without trying. So who knows?
This is true. So what Procky and I are referring to is an elusive bug that we're not entirely sure is fully understood at this point, where you can run up and Dragon Tank will die off screen and you just get to run right on by him. It's only happened a small handful of times, and not sure if it's even possible in vanilla.
We're not sure if it's possible in vanilla, and yeah, we're not sure how it works. We just know that we've done it. And I've personally done it a few times, and I've spent hours trying to reproduce it on the same files. Don't know how it works, but it does work, so there is a way. So we're all hopeful that one day we'll understand it, and because it's a huge skip, especially if you have a team with dark matter, you're probably not going to even care about skipping it, to be honest. But sometimes
True.
you don't have dark matter, and Dragon Tank, especially on more difficult game settings, can be a tough little fight.
Oh yeah, Dragon Tank with boss scaling with a lot of stuff locked in the future can be really rough. Though, I mean, Dragon Tank is also good to fight anyway, just because he can drop some pretty high tier stuff.
Yes, and that's 3 drops from the fight, right?
Yeah, you get 1 drop for each piece of Dragon Tank, potentially. So, 3 chances at pretty decent loot. Yeah, this is still a pretty close race. We have, Dr. Cossack just leaving the prison. Future Force is, of course, in jail, just about to start the escape sequence. Oh yeah, I didn't actually see what sword Dr. Cossack has equipped on Chrono. There was a slasher available in Desert. I didn't really see what he put on him, though. I guess now we get to talk about the early pendant charge flag. So, typical race settings, the pendant, instead of having to go to the Mammon machine to charge up your pendant, it charges as soon as you warp here to the future. So at this point, all of the sealed chests, all of the sealed doors, those are all available to our players, and they're typically pretty high tier loot. Yeah, vanilla Chrono breakout. One of my favorites for this part, though, is actually having Marl thrown in jail for stealing her own pendant. It's not always the best to bring her because she's not terribly fast. I like to have a fast character do this part, but for comedic effect, I like getting her thrown in jail.
That's right. She's not fast, but she does have ice too. That's one thing I do like to have is a simple AoE spell, just for when you run into two guards at once.
Yeah, there's the two fights, the one on the bridge and then the one right before the supervisor's room.
Right. There's also, if you walk in the very first room that you wake up in, you can walk around the guard and fight those two at the same time as well. So if you have like a fire 2 or something like that, it can actually be faster than knocking him out, getting caught, and then fighting the next guy by himself.
That's an interesting little optimization. I knew you could fight the two of them, but I never really considered just the whole, hey, if I just, nuke these guys down with a AoE spell, it's faster. Interesting.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you how much faster it is. I'm sure it's very, very marginal.
Yeah. But hey, I mean, this is a speed run, so save the frames, right? Oh, here we have Marl for Dr. Cossack. That opens up the trial sequence.
Uh-huh. And of course, neither of them have the Chrono trigger or the clone, so they're probably going to continue chasing down that Ocean Palace route, I think.
Ocean Palace tends to be the more popular route. So you'll see it's a lot more runners go for that one over the Black Omen. But I mean, in a race, at this point, they may just take the first one that comes available. And I guess that is always, the question. Do you risk maybe doing a couple more checks just on the off chance that your Ocean Palace is faster than your Black Omen routing, or do you just go for it? And at this point, both of these runners last locationed the pendant before doing Magus's castle into Mount Woe, so they probably both feel a little bit behind at this point.
I'll bet you they do. Wondering if the other player has maybe gone that route. Future may be thinking that, and I'm guessing that based just on the fact he knows Frog is there. So, and he chose to kick him to the curb and keep checking. So.
Yeah, I don't think Dr. Cossack has actually checked the burrow yet.
No, I don't think he has.
So this, like I said, they both at this point, because they put off that desert check for so long and it was available so early, they probably are both, feeling pretty far behind at this point. So I'm curious to see how that'll affect their routing for the rest of the run.
Triton's just asking in chat if they have fire gear for Son of Sun. I didn't notice anything. That doesn't mean they don't, but it's a good thing to bring up because it can be a very quick check as long as you have some fire absorb gear. Otherwise, he can nuke you pretty quick.
Yeah, if you get red vests or red mail for your entire party, the check becomes basically free, just because he can't really hurt you. However, if you don't and he starts casting flare, that can be a bad day.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Flare on the Guardian. I don't think that's going to do much.
No.
Guardian, of course, being immune to fire.
Yes, the center is immune to fire, but the two bits can be taken out with fire. But so as soon as those bits are down, Luca, unless she has a really good gun, becomes almost worthless.
Yeah, so you may also be noticing that Guardian on the right is using a little more advanced of an attack pattern than you see in vanilla. His battle script has been changed. Instead of just kind of counting down and reviving the bits, he now actually hits you with, additional moves. I think that was one of the changes. I admit it's been a while since I've really thought about this guy much in vanilla, but my understanding is his battle script has been changed to make him a little more interesting.
I believe you're right, and I'm the same. It's been quite a while since I've played vanilla now that I'm playing this.
So... Okay, yeah, we have some people using the commands in chat. Do we have one to sort of tell people where to go if they want to get involved in this?
It might be JOT.
As we both try it. Alas, no.
I guess we just broke the bot, or it doesn't work.
Could be. Yeah, if anyone happens to know if we do have a command for this. It looks like CT. There we go. All right, so yeah, if you're looking at this and thinking, man, this is actually pretty interesting, I really want to give this a try. Yeah, feel free, stop by, join the Discord. Great community there, a lot of great people. Always happy to answer questions, always someone up for a friendly race. Grab the randomizer, give it a try. It really is a lot of fun.
Yep. I personally found it addictive, and that's why I'm still here. Because I just couldn't stop playing. And, yeah.
Or if you're racing Taco, it might be an unfriendly race. You never know.
Or
I mean, it takes all
unfriendly
sorts.
Yes.
Yeah, it takes all sorts. But no, it really is a lot of fun. Still actually being actively worked on. So, you know, there's an active community. The devs are active. It's really is good. And yes, you will still be hungry after using the Enertron. I'm sorry, that is vanilla. So Future is actually caught up pretty quickly.
Yep.
He rushed straight here, and he is actually doing his Guardian fight now.
And Dr. Cossack has picked up a Slasher 2, which is a very good sword for Chrono. He equipped it on Chrono, but he still hasn't switched to Chrono. So I wonder if he's going to use Chrono or if he's going to stick with Robo now.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he does have the Robo's ribbon, which is a pretty nice accessory. Boosts Robo's damage by about 25%.
Yeah, and Robo and Luca, they pair well together. They have a lot of good dual text that they use together. Obviously, double V-bomb being one of them.
Ooh, a Star Scythe.
As well as, of course, I think Omega Flare with the Blue Rock is possible with the team that he's using.
Yes, you are correct. That is Flare, Dark Bomb, and Laser Spin?
I think so. I think that's correct.
So yeah, if he does find a Blue Rock, that'll be a pretty nice little damage boost. It's always a treat when you get to see some of the triple tech rocks get used.
Yeah, it's always fun. And pretty much always worth it, too.
They're very strong. One of my only times I ever had the right team for it, it was Dark Eternal, and I got the Black Rock. So that was a great seed. I just beat the whole end half of the game spamming Dark Eternal.
And that's basically, they put together like Antipode 2 and Dark Matter, right? Well, it's Dark Matter, Ice 2, Fire 2, but
yeah.
Of course, Ice 2, Fire 2 is Antipode 2. So it hits hard. Hits very, very hard.
It's extremely hard. Nope, and there's Future getting the news about the Slasher 2. Slasher 2 doesn't have that nice speed boost that you get from Slasher 1, but the attack power is pretty worth it.
Dr. Cossack facing down Son of Sun now.
Yeah, and I believe Dr. Cossack finishing Aristome got the Chrono trigger. No, I didn't completely miss that and have to go to the spoiler log to look at it.
Oh, it's a good thing you have that thing.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that.
It's a good strategy. Does Luca
looks
have
like-
flame toss? I don't know.
Yeah, I actually don't know either. But it looks like, at least for now, he's found the right flame, so he's getting those shots in. Son of Sun is 10 hits on the vulnerable flame to kill him. And just like when I'm actually playing the game, I have not been counting.
I think he's on 3, now that's 4, I think. So it is like Angarel said, it's 10 hits. It's always 10 hits, no matter what mode you happen to set your flags to. Easy, hard, normal, boss scaling, doesn't matter. Always 10.
Yeah, always 10. No, nothing super crazy. They both got pendant pretty late from the desert, which brought them to the future. They pretty much cleared out everything else first, so we're just kind of getting going in the future now.
You actually can? That's amazing. I didn't know you could use Flame Toss against the Son of Sun.
Yeah, one of those things I've never tried.
Or Slash, that makes sense. Very similar tech. Dr. Cossack, yeah, taking care of Son of Sun, no problem.
Yeah, and of course he got those 10 hits in. You saw the, Son of Sun is losing its fire message. Star Scythe and a Rainbow Helm for his trouble. Yeah, the Black Hole strat is, it's actually one I didn't know about until a couple of weeks ago.
And he's found the Ruby Knife.
He has. That is a good find. So at this point, he is on a Dreamstone hunt.
He's going to be hunting for the Dreamstone, and his checks that he has remaining are, what would you say, Geno Dome and the King's Trial, right?
Yeah, those are the big ones.
Both of which aren't that quick. So these checks are just going to start taking a little bit longer as they sort of get into the final stretch.
Yeah.
Most players don't start their checks at the place that takes the longest. But sometimes you are forced to go there after.
Yeah, looks like Future is heading straight to the trial.
Now this could be very interesting.
It could. Good thing this is the SNES version. Can you imagine having to check the headed DS content? Yeah, that would...
Oh, and now...
17 hours of fetch quests later, and you finally get to the end of the Lost Sanctum. I enjoyed the DS content, but man, that whole section felt like just hours of fetch quests.
It didn't have the heart I felt that the original game had. But we have Cossack here going to Nizbel, not realizing what we all know now after watching Future fight him. All he's going to find there is Robo's ribbon. Again, it's a good item to buff up Robo's stats, but not going to get him any closer to Lavos. And at the same time, Future is rushing into the King's Trial. Although, he did not check Son of Sun, and thus does not have the Ruby Knife, so... Very interesting play here to watch. Very entertaining for me.
It is. So Future at this point is probably thinking he's on a clone hunt.
You're right. And he could very well find clone. Yeah.
Yeah, he could end up with clone here. Clone could be at Geno Dome. As far as he knows, it could be at Son of Sun. Absolute worst case, he might have to make that woe play. But we know he definitely does not want to do Mount Woe. Nobody wants to have to do Mount Woe. It's great tech points, it's great treasure, but it usually means that something's going pretty bad in a seed.
Yeah, again, I found the DS version, to me, it almost felt like inauthentic, but that's just me. I mean, obviously it was authentic, but felt just tacked on, or like a lazy sequel, like The Lion King 2. Like, what? It was kind of like that.
So my thoughts on it are, I don't know, a little interesting. I liked some of the content. Some of the level design I was not a huge fan of. I felt like they made really big, winding, sprawling levels that were designed to make you run back and forth a lot. But at the same time, like, the new boss fights I thought were pretty interesting. Just some of the general content they added I really enjoyed. So it was a mix for me.
Yeah, it got mixed reviews. It's getting one now, but that's fine. It's fine. We're not here to talk about that anyway. But
fair enough.
Dr. Cossack coming up on Nizbel here. He's not going to have any trouble whatsoever with Nizbel at this point. I think he has shock and luminaire and all kinds of magic to deal. So he'll wheel and deal. And we have the clone on future side here. That's incredible. That, I believe, puts him in go mode.
That does put him in go mode. So Dr. Cossack doesn't realize it, but he could technically be in go mode if he were to pick up Frog.
That is true. That is true, because all you need is Frog to go through Magus's castle, and then you're in 12,000 BC, so you can just use the ruby knife from there.
Yeah. Yeah, so Future, of course, making that decision to rush directly to trial when he picked up Marl, really paying off for him here as he actually gets his go mode. Sadly, of course, for Dr. Cossack, like you said, we know, chat knows, Nizbel does not lead to progression, though it will lead to a stronger Robo.
It will. Yeah, I was thinking, for the most part, Cossack was just a little bit ahead, but obviously this put him quite a bit behind, especially with the luck of finding the clone here.
Yeah, and the trial is a longer check, so I can understand him wanting to go for Nizbel, which is a little bit faster.
That's true, and he knew that he left it behind.
Yeah. I mean, and that is the nature of randomizers, though. As for what techs Marl has, I actually don't know. I don't know if we've seen that yet. Yeah, I mean, technically you could reset out of the trial if you get something that's really just not good. The danger with that, of course, being that the trial is actually a gateway to 2 checks. You've got the check for picking up the Prism Shard in the basement, as well as the Melchior check where you turn in the Sunstone. We don't have the Sunstone here, but if progression is there, you would have to go back and redo the trial at that point.
Yeah, and it's rarely worth it to reset also because of the great chests that are actually located around the Rainbow Shell. I think there's 6. And they tend to have very good gear. Then you get the Yakra 13 drop, good gear there. Experience, I tend to take it just about every single time. And yeah, missing a Mega Elixir drop there, that's fantastic for later, for Zeal 2.
Beautiful drop. Yeah, we see Dr. Cossack, of course, talking to the king in 600 AD. That arms the trial check. He can go bring Marl there and start the sequence as well.
I am a little surprised that Future Force did not try Son of Sun before going through this, but
it paid off.
It definitely paid off, and that can happen. Sometimes
I wonder if
play creatively.
Yeah, I wonder if he just didn't feel like he had enough fire resist gear and didn't feel like going through with it.
Yeah, maybe he had a bad experience during practice. Something like
that can happen.
Yeah.
All right, Marl gets to yell at the guards a little bit. It's cathartic to yell at the guards once in a while.
It's just all she knows.
Mm-hmm.
Even if she's just saying good morning. So Kier 2, Ice 2, and Haste. That's pretty good spread for Marl.
Oh, yeah, that's a really good spread. So that gives Antipode 2 and 3.
He's probably
as well
thinking,
as Haste.
Maybe I don't need to take her to Specchio. Probably thinking that.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, the only thing missing from that is Life 2, and you know what?
And if he plays with Chrono, he has life, at least.
That's true.
But we don't know exactly what team he's going to really choose here. But if he sticks with what he has, he definitely has a great, strong team, and one of my favorite teams, mostly because of the vanilla aspect.
Yeah, I really like this team as well. It may not be the highest damage team out there, but the techs are solid. It's a fun one to play with.
Yeah, techs are solid. You get strong single target attack, AOE. You get some of the best magic, like Antipode 3, for example. And you get some solid healing, AOE healing. It's a little bit of everything, but yeah, like you said, it's by far not the highest damage team.
Yeah, Taco pointing out he bought a bow. He also dumped a bunch of magic tabs onto Marl, which just really is lending weight to him bringing Marl along for the end.
Yeah, which is a good thing to do with Marl, because her Ice 2 is actually quite powerful on its own.
So it looks like his retail therapy is just about over.
Yeah, that's right.
And now on his way to the future, where he will go unlock the Mount Woe sequence. Dr. Cossack, coming up on the treasure room, got caught by one of the Nagaet and Nasher fights.
FutureForce choosing not to rename the epoch.
What? How can we validate a run without the rename?
Obviously, he's trying to win and wouldn't consider wasting time doing something like that. But you can rename the epoch here if you want.
You can. There is a console behind that new in the first room. You go ahead, you talk to that, and a name screen comes up. Oh, and Dr. Cossack just got the news that the clone and his Go mode.
That's right.
We're hiding in the Guardia Treasury.
And I would say that, roughly an hour 20 for Go mode, it's not fast or slow. It's kind of right in the curve.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. I mean, sometimes the seeds are nice and you end up with that Go mode right off the bat.
Yeah, some seeds you have Go mode in half an hour. Some it could take an hour and a half or 2 hours even. I've had seeds in 2 hour Go modes.
Yeah, those are the really nasty seeds, though.
Yeah, it's nasty until that very final fight, and you're over leveled.
True.
It hardly takes any time at all. It's a little bit gratifying, but
yeah, with the early Go modes, they tend to get a little dangerous because you're playing most of the late game kind of under-leveled. The benefit of seeds like this, though, where you had to do a bunch of checks, they've been getting experience, they've been fighting bosses, their equipment's pretty good. They're not really going to have much trouble, I wouldn't imagine.
I would not imagine.
I mean, again, you never know. Some of these bosses and mid-bosses and, Lavo Spawn can be a jerk. Terra can be a pain.
For them, Lavo Spawn might be the biggest hurdle here because they have such strong magic. The mutants should be pretty, I don't want to use the word easy because you never know what's going to happen in there, but That's what they need to beat them as quickly as possible, is strong magic attacks.
Yeah, with Antipode 3 and Luminaire, they're pretty well set for it.
Yeah. And I suppose on Lavos Spawn, you could use Fire Sword, but that's, or Confuse and then the girl's physical attacks. So, the same team that's great for the mutants isn't always the same team that's great for the Lavos Spawn.
Yeah, that whole boss gauntlet's kind of interesting just for that. There's so different strategies required for them. But this is a decent team for Zeal too. Of course, you've got Antipode 2 is very strong against her with Chrono being able to use Confuse. They got that Mega Elixir earlier. That'll come into play very handy in the Zeal 2 fight.
Yeah. And another thing is having Flare in the Black Omen is indispensable. It's just, it'll take out, the biggest boss, or sorry, not bosses, but the biggest monster encounters that you will find in there, like Tubsters. And it can one-hit them and really simplify and speed up your path through Black Omen. Just Flare alone.
Yeah, Flare is an amazing spell in this game. Future just kind of working his way through the Death Peak as Dr. Cossack is now finishing up the trial sequence. I imagine he's probably going to do the same kind of thing Future did, gonna maybe go grab some additional consumable items and then head right on over and start working towards the Black Omen. I have such a hard time with that skip. What is it, a cracker they're called?
The single one in the front of the stairs.
That single one, I either forget he's there, or when I remember the thing is there, I still just run into it anyway. It's kind of sad.
I think you kind of have to start it early at the bottom of the stairs.
Yeah. Oh, Dr. Cossack, having saved Fritz, is getting his 10 mid-ethers. So, oh no, Future Force takes a second fall there. That part can be a little tough. But yeah, that can be one of the big benefits to saving Fritz. You get to stop in. Mid-ethers are pretty nice to have, and Fritz's shop is just, frankly, a good shop. He has a decent chance to have some high-quality stuff. I mean, it's not going to be like the new shop, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah, you can find the best stuff in there, I believe. But it's still rare to even find them at the new shop. Things like Prism Helm and Prism Specs, but it is possible to shop those items.
It is. It's always good when you see that, or, the new shop sells Mega Elixirs.
Yeah, Mega Elixirs. I feel guilty if I buy more than 2.
It does feel a little bit indulgent, doesn't it? But man, when you're thirsty, nothing quenches like a Mega Elixir.
Yeah, nothing quenches. Nothing's quenchier.
All right, we're about to see our Lavos Spawn fight over on Future's side. Dr. Cossack talking to the new, getting the program to run.
Yeah, and of course this is the big difference between Vanilla and Jets is I think you fight quite a few of these up here in Vanilla.
3, I believe.
Yeah, and it is not the same one we were talking about earlier, which of course is the Elder Lavos Spawn that comes after Terra Mutant. That's the one that's really going to possibly cause trouble, but we'll see.
Yeah, Elder Lavos Spawn can be a little bit terrifying. If you accidentally attack the shell, or if he hits you with a Confuse ability and then you hit the shell, a Chaos ability and then you hit the shell, it just, his counterattack hurts so much.
I'm glad someone in chat actually understood that reference I made, as nerdy as it is.
The quenchiest?
Yeah, it's from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I have seen that, though it's been quite a long time.
I've watched it all because I have a kid, so that's why.
That'll do it.
So don't ask questions.
That's fair. I was in high school when it came out, and I just didn't get a chance, really. So, watched it years later, but oh no, Future Force misclicked on the shell.
It is a great series, Corinth. Yeah, this can, if you misclick, which is easy to do because the game will automatically target the shell. You have to move your cursor.
Yeah, we've all been there, though. Just a misclick. It happens.
But I believe it only has, 3,000 or 4,000 HP. So it usually doesn't take too long to whittle that down.
Yeah, I would have to look it up. I don't know if its HP value is vanilla or if it's been changed, but that particular Lavos spawn is not nearly as bad as the one in Black Omen. Man, so we got both runners on Death Peak at the same time. Future Force just finishing it up. drcossack still, making his way up, but this is actually a pretty close race. This is going to come down to either, bad luck on some of the bosses or just general encounter skips.
I was thinking Marl in that scene, went to unlock the time egg and went, hey, it didn't do anything, but then looked behind her and saw Chrono was there the whole time. So straight to Black Omen.
Yeah. Yep, no need to go rescue Chrono. He's right here. I always thought this was a pretty cool scene for Super Nintendo era graphics.
Yeah, the music and the graphics here are, well, I'll use the word legendary.
You're probably not wrong.
And with Future Force unlocking Black Omen at 132, that's setting him up for a just fantastic time if he manages to get through there quickly. I'm not sure what the best time for Black Omen is, but it could take you anywhere from, say, half an hour to an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, Black Omen, the time you spend in there is highly dependent on how many encounters you know how to skip and how many you stick around and fight. I'm not terribly great at the skips. So Ravenous Shark, for this particular flag set, they actually will not be dealing with Lavos and Slappy Hour. We're running with the Zeal 2 flag, so they're going to end the game on Zeal 2. So the Lavos core fight, of course, you get in there and Center Bit has all these amazingly high-powered attacks. You've got Grand Stone, you've got Dreamless, you've got, the Dark Star.
Yeah, even random status can.
Yeah, random status. But the most terrifying thing that happens is when he gets Slappy. He'll just randomly, during one of the time periods when they do the time warp, his attack is just to jump forward and smack you.
Yep, and it's just the strangest thing because it doesn't always happen. And if you kill him and he respawns, he won't be doing it anymore unless you're very unlucky.
Yeah.
Sometimes he just gets slappy.
And it just hurts.
Oh, he can hit you for 1,000 damage if you're not geared to the max, which often you're not.
Yeah, or if you're just a little bit under-leveled, he'll easily just one-shot your characters on each swing.
Yeah, even if you have a safe helm on, he can still penetrate.
That can be a nasty fight. Speaking of annoying fights, if you don't have status protection, these guys can put your characters to sleep over on FutureForce's screen.
That's right. And this fight can take a very long time if they don't decide to turn around.
Oh, there goes Chrono. Yeah, they just sit there chucking those little like smoke bomb things at you, and
yeah, sleeping gas or whatever it is.
There we go. And Dr. Cossack coming up for his fight against the Lavos spawn.
Yeah, you can keep the center bit alive or kill the center bit. I tend to go for the left bit first, and then I go for both the center and the right until the center is almost dead. But I do like to kill that center at least once. I'm angry about all the times he got slappy with me.
Yeah, that fight, it largely depends on what your party is and what your gear is like. The center bit is where all the devastating attacks come from. So if you're worried about a really nasty time period where he's going to cast some of the big ones, you might want to take out the center bit. The center bit, or the left bit, has immunity to elements, so you need to physical attack it down with very little health, so it's really party dependent.
Yes, there are times when you might not have strong single target physical attacks. Say you have like Luca, Marl, and Magus. You basically, your best game plan at that point is to just go straight for the center bit.
Yeah, go for the center bit, take the counter attack, and then just switch all in on the right bit.
Yeah, the counter attack hurts quite a bit, but you can use shield, and that should actually save any character from getting one-shotted by it. So, but this is all, Lavos fighting, which we're not actually going to see today.
Yeah, it's a shame. Lavos fights, it's always fun. Dr. Cossack, of course, just finishing up his Lavos spawn. He is also getting the news that, hey, look, Chrono is in fact already alive.
That's right. You can keep going now.
So, people may remember from the vanilla game, you can charm speed tabs from these panels. That is not the case in the randomizer. Enemy drops and enemy charms have been randomized. So based on where they found characters, it looks like... So we know that Frog was in Burrow, so Vanilla Frog, and that just leaves Dactyl Nest. So I guess Ayla is Vanilla Ayla as well.
Ah, that's right.
FutureForce playing the patient waiting game.
Yeah, now, will that middle eye close its eye so you can run by? I'm not sure.
I don't know. I don't know about this one.
I know you can skip the next one because it'll run away. Yeah, but he got a little too close there. So there's a lot of these eyeball encounters, and they can be kind of difficult to complete taking down unless you have, some of the best weapons like Valkyrie or Wonder Shot or something. See if he takes any of these fights. They can be worth it. They give you, I think, 1,000 experience and 100 tech points, but you have to kill all three.
If you can get both of the sidekicks, you get the biggest boost. But yeah, you can get, I think it's 50 and 500 from each sidekick, as well as a decent chance of loot. They can drop some pretty good stuff, but they can take a while. And I've always called them the dodging eyeballs of sadness, because usually they just run away and I lose it all.
That's right.
Poor metal mutes not standing a chance. So we talked about Flare being really good in here. On everything but the biggest trash enemies, Fire 2 is also amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. If you say you're a little short on MP for whatever reason, it should be quite sufficient.
Oh yeah, I mean, you may want to break out Flare for like the Tubsters, but anything like this, Fire 2 will take him out just as well. I think Dr. Cossack is doing a quick shopping trip. He's got Heal Beam on Robo. That's a nice one to have. And now we have both players in the Black Omen.
That's right. And as long as you have decent speed, you shouldn't have too many, bad encounters in here. But if you have, I'd say like 12 or less speed, like these laser guards and the panels, they can attack you very quickly. And it can get dangerous fast. So it's good to have at least one character. I'd say at least always have one with 13 speed so that you can run from things or get your first attack off and try and one-shot them.
Yeah, absolutely. Speed is very important.
Lots of speed is a very good strategy for that. She does have those very strong magic spells.
Yeah, if you can find a Tabin suit for her, that's just amazing. That's a +3 speed right there.
Yeah, Tabin suit and 2 speed tabs, and she'll be at 13.
Man, it's always a thing of beauty when the fight opens up and just Luke is already there with Flare.
It really is. And
sure
Dr. Cossack he was struggling with that incognito there, who had put 2 of his party members to sleep and was refusing to come out and play.
Oh yeah, that fight, like I said, that one can just be really mean because you just keep getting hit with that sleep grenade. And he can just whittle you down little by little while you can't really fight back.
Yeah, it can happen. He can take you out.
So the one thing I think Dr. Cossack is going to be missing here, of course, is that big AoE fire spell. Shadow magic is really strong, but some of the enemies in here absorb it, and I think these guys do, the goons.
Yeah, I believe they absorb magic. They may even absorb lightning. There's a few enemies that absorb both in here, and so I usually don't go blasting through with Shadow. I like to stick with Flare or Fire 2, like FutureForce is.
Yeah, Fire is a strong option in here. Moon Blizzard confirming the goons absorb both lightning and shadow.
Right. But Shadow will hit, like, anything robotic, I think Shadow and lightning work on. FutureForce just found a gold stud out of a chest. That's a great item to find.
Oh, nice find. That's going on Luca for sure.
Putting it right on Luca right away.
Yeah, skipping and running from battles in here is relatively common. Future may just be, padding out his levels a little bit.
Yeah, personally, I do the same thing in Black Omen. I try to take like as many battles as I sort of run into. I don't skip everything because, it's good to have levels.
Apparently, the settings for this race are hard, enemizer, swordless, all dungeons, key handy. Sounds legit. We're going to go with that. Thank you, Sahasrabot. Oh, man. Could you imagine if these races were on hard? Like a hard with boss scaling?
As a commentator, I prefer not to think about that. But
as a runner, you like to think about it even less.
I wouldn't mind as much maybe as a runner. But those seeds, they could take 3 hours plus easily.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you, of course, are one of the players who actually does run a lot of the crazy stuff. Hard mode seeds, boss scaling, Lost Worlds with locked characters and all the hard flags just for a challenge. I'm a wimp. I don't do that.
Yeah, it's... I don't know why. I don't know why I'm like that.
Well, don't go change it. It's fun to watch. I can live vicariously through you and not have
That's
to
right.
torture myself.
Happy to supply the experience. Yeah, Ravenous Shark was definitely responsible for maybe my first boss scaling Lost World seed.
Oof.
And I think
So
we raced it, and it took a very long time to complete.
Brutal. So we've been talking about Lost World. So this randomizer has a number of optional flags. We're just seeing a subset of them here. But Lost Worlds is an alternate game mode where instead of starting off in like 600 and 1000 AD, you start off in the future. And for the most part, you only have access to the future, prehistory, and the Dark Ages. It's a smaller subset of checks. There's only 5 key item checks that you can do. Both Go modes are still available, and you can only get 4 of the characters. You start with 2 of them. You have Protodome and Dactyl Nest. So it can be sort of an interesting time going through some of the lesser played areas of the game, but can also be very, very difficult if your shops are mean and you don't get good stuff. You can end up kind of gear starved. It's a lot of fun though.
You tend to end up a little gear starved, and that's the biggest challenge probably about it. Other than that, it's a little bit easier, I would say, just because you don't have to go on a huge long hunt and fight a ton of bosses. Like, you only have a small handful of checks. So once you get used to those, it's quicker and a little easier. You also have the benefit of starting at level 15 in Lost Worlds, which you obviously don't get in this.
That's true. Yeah, starting at level 15 is definitely, not just helpful, but kind of required.
But what we figured out back then was that boss scaling, when used with Lost Worlds, since you only have that small pool of key items, and you're going to get the progression items, the clone, the trigger, the knife, the dreamstone, that means that those bosses will always be scaled way up. They're extremely strong, extremely overpowered, and so it's a fun way to make the game very, very difficult. Of course, it's not required.
Yeah, just an interesting challenge or an interesting change of pace if you want something a little fresh and new. So at this point, we're just clearing through the Black Omen. Here we've got lots more eyeballs on Future's screen. He's going to wait for the eyes to close and then run past. Because if their eyes are closed, they can't see you.
Yeah, and generally it doesn't take too long for that to work. And he gets by with little trouble. But sometimes it gets frustrating. They don't want to close their eyes.
Yeah, or they just kind of fake you out and blink real quick.
Yeah. Executing Flare in the proper situation.
Yeah, at the risk of sounding like a broken record here, Flare is just so strong in this dungeon.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's anything that's actually immune to Flare in this entire dungeon.
A Nova armor.
Yeah, Nova armor is great. It's not quite as high in defense as Moon armor, but it will add status protection to your character.
Yeah, and status protection is not as important on this run.
Moon armor now.
Oh, nice. So, the Terra Mutant and Elder Lavos Spawn will do some status effects, but it's not really as big a thing like with Zeal 2. But if you're fighting Lavos as your end boss, status protection gear is just I'm not going to say it's required, but it makes the fight much more manageable.
Yeah, in vanilla, we'll say it doesn't feel as required because the status effect he'll cast on you, the Lavo Shell, for example, it'll always be chaos. And so if he chaoses your whole team, well, you're going to get like hit with Shadow Slay right after, and it'll wake you all up. But that is one change in Jets of Time. He will cast a random status effect on you. And so it could be anything. It could be stop, for example, which could stop your entire team. And then you just sit there and think to yourself, I lost.
Yeah, stop can be a run killer if you don't have any kind of status protection.
And that's a reason why amulets are one of the very few guaranteed items that are available.
Valk.
You'll find that at the new shop and also in the Black Omen new shop.
Yeah, so we talked a little about how Fritz's shop and Fiona's shop have guaranteed lapis. The only other two items in the game, well, okay,
I guess
I'm already going to contradict myself.
Others?
There's Melchior's shop.
Yeah.
But the two new shops in the Kingdom of Zeal and in the Black Omen are guaranteed to have amulets. And then, of course, there's Melchior's shop in the Millennial Fair is a little bit of a special case. He is guaranteed to have shelters, revives, and a sort of mid-tier weapon for each of the main characters. I don't think he has a Magus weapon, and he does not have a weapon for Ayla, but he has weapons for all of the other characters.
Yeah, that's right. And those weapons, of course, are shuffled, but they're there.
Yeah.
But the four guaranteed items being Lapis, Revive, Shelter, and Amulet. But aside from that, the vendors can either be very friendly with you or give you nothing. And it can really change the way that a seed goes.
It really can. If you can't find early ethers, then you have to start being stingy with your abilities, especially in a seed like this where you start with Flare. Ooh, that was a swallow.
Wow.
I don't know if FutureForce got that, or if he did, I don't remember seeing it, but that's a +3 speed to Chrono if he decides to use it.
That's right, +3, yeah. Sometimes I will, at this point in the game, use swords on Chrono just to raise his speed, because I'm mostly casting, say, Luminaire anyways.
Yeah.
And speed is just so tasty.
Speed is probably the most powerful stat in this game, just for the turn economy. You get to go first, you get to go faster.
Yeah, and you can get a real taste of that if you fire up one of these seeds one day. Anyone who's watching and wants to try it out, put it on easy mode first, and it has the tendency to leave tabs all over for you to find, and you can really pump up your speed, and it just makes things like, for example, Lavos manageable if you're not used to fighting him.
Yeah, so the big difference between easy and normal is just the gear and the items that drop. Easy is just going to be much kinder to you in terms of the level of gear and consumables that you get. Hard mode, of course, makes the drops worse and also makes some of the enemies harder.
Yeah, it also decreases the payoff for killing them, so you'll get less experience, gold, and tech points.
Yeah, exactly, especially at some of the more common grinding locations.
Yeah. FutureForce having no problem with Giga Mutant at all.
Yeah, it looked like Chrono might have been taking a nap, but Giga Mutant goes down nonetheless.
Yeah, he's, not necessary.
A long day.
When you have Luca and Marl together. Yeah, he can take a nap every now and then.
Yeah. And that was Antipode 3 strats coming into play over there.
Yeah, something that's very strong against the mutants, but we'll see how Dr. Cossack does. He still has good, strong magic AoEs with this team. Maybe not quite as strong, but still decent.
Yeah, he's got Shock and Luminaire, of course, and The dark matter is just amazing.
An antipode siesta. I like that.
You know, the one sad part, we never did find, was it the Blue Rock back when he was running with that team?
That's right. I never saw it.
Yeah, it's a shame. All of the rocks in the game are shuffled between their vanilla locations. So if it was a rock in vanilla, it's a rock here. As to which rock it will be, well, that's up to the randomizer to decide. But
yeah,
they are all available.
Most of them, frankly, aren't very useful for the most part. I find that runners typically stick with the black and blue rocks, and only if they're, they have the right team and stuff. So it's, of course not required. But I have a mode that I like to play with Frog, where I like to collect everything for Frog and upgrade him, upgrade his sword, and then the final piece of the puzzle is having the gold rock to do the Grand Dream triple tech, which...
Oh, nice.
It's not quite... I haven't tested it fully. It's maybe not the strongest tech, but it has a great animation to it, at least, so...
Yeah, no, that's a fun one. I didn't realize that was part of the challenge.
It is now. It's kind of a new addition.
Gotcha. I'll have to come catch that one of these days.
Yes, and I'll have to actually learn where all the rocks are first before I actually try it. I mean, I was trying on a seed before, but I just didn't find the rock, and I forget what else happened. It may have glitched out for some reaon with the tools or something. But
hey, Brocky, I think you're getting called out in chat.
It's well, Frog's a little better now, so
you make a persuasive argument.
In like some upcoming versions of this, like we've had the privilege to do some testing for the devs, but in future public releases, Frog is going to get some boosts.
Yeah, so one of the sad parts, of course, right now is that Frog is a little bit underpowered as a character, so kind of working on balancing that out, getting it to where more party combinations are viable. So, look forward to that in the upcoming, weeks or months as that gets fleshed out and then finally released. But for now, we have a Terra Mutant. Terra Mutant is kind of annoying.
Terra Mutant can be annoying. Luckily, it's a little easier to take down than Giga Mutant. But if you don't take it down fast, it can start getting really angry with you.
Yeah, so Terra Mutant, I believe, only has about 5,000 health, but that bottom part has, I think, 10,000 health, and he just kind of slurps health from it to heal himself. And he can do this, by casting random status effects at you, which didn't seem to work.
Yeah, once you kill that top half, you can just wait it out and the bottom half will die without it. Wow, that's great drops. I think I saw a speed tab in there.
You did. Gloomhelm and a speed tab.
Also a Gloomhelm. He's not using Magus, but that's Magus's best helmet and also has status protection on it.
Yeah, Dr. Cossack will be happy to see that. And of course, there was, I think, the White Rock we just saw. But no Poyozo dance for us today.
No.
That's it. Run's not validated unless Future leaves right now and gets Ayla.
Maybe we'll have a future category for that.
Wasn't that part of like a challenge seed one time? One of the weekly challenge seeds that someone had to get all three of the required characters and the White Rock and use Poyozo dance before they could beat the game.
That sounds familiar. I didn't play that one, but it sounds yeah.
So we just kind of do some like little silly challenges once in a while just to get the community involved, figure out, okay, who's going to run this set of challenge seeds or do this thing, and then, pick just a random fun challenge. It's a good community.
Yep, it's fun to just add something on top of, the game already offers you so much fun, but you can add a little more yourself by just saying, okay, I can't pass level 33 or something like that. And so we'll take an idea like that and race each other either in async or live. And yeah, we have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, it's a great group.
Yeah, Moon is bringing up 2 character races. So we found he's actually written a script that can find seeds that are viable that you can complete with only finding 2 characters. If you'll remember what I mentioned before, sometimes you need Marl or Robo, and we needed Robo actually in this seed to get the pendant. So if you don't start with them and you have a 2 character seed, well, that's a problem. So we figured out a way to play a seed that you can beat the whole thing with the first 2 characters you have, so you don't collect anyone else. And those are a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, we see Future taking a reset over on the left side. Elder Lavo Spawn kind of got out ahead of him, and honestly, with some of these fights, once you're behind, once you're trying to play that catch-up battle, it just gets easier to reset it. That, of course, giving Dr. Cossack here a chance to
That's right.
catch up a little bit.
Yep. Yeah,
this
like
can
I was saying, it can be a difficult fight with a team like this, with Luca and Marl specifically.
Yeah, you need to be able to put out a lot of single target damage, and Luca and Marl, they're great at clearing the whole screen. They're not as good at doing single target damage.
Yeah, even with something like Valkyrie, you can only hit once and pray for a critical hit, but obviously you have no tech that will allow for a 3 times or 4 times damage. And even then, it would still be a little bit weak.
Yeah, at this point, I think we're just relying on Chrono's Confuse. I think he's getting some buffs out. We saw a shield go down on Chrono. So that nice yellow glow surrounding Chrono is from an item called a shield. It reduces incoming physical damage by 1/3. There is also the barrier, which is magic damage by 1/3.
Sorry, Nadia. Yeah. Yeah, an interesting thing to add that even though you can use a shield and a barrier, say, to buff your character in that way, for the Zeal 2 fight coming up, the second half of that fight, she can actually remove that status from you.
Yeah, once you take her down below half health, for whatever reason, her big hits start just ignoring barrier. So she just becomes even more dangerous.
Yeah, I noticed that our runners did collect some decent armors, but I'm not sure what they have for like magic absorb gear. They may have Nova armor, Moon armor, but do they have blackmail? Because that could be a huge difference against Zeal.
There was a blue mail that dropped at one point, but I don't know what kind of shadow absorb they have. So Zeal 2, the majority of her attacks are shadow damage. So if you can throw Black Vest or Black Mail on your entire party, that takes care of the majority of her damage. She's also got Skygate Lightning, which is lightning, and the ever-terrifying Hexagon Mist, which is water. But they come into play less often than her shadow attacks.
Yeah, Hexagon Mist is the big kahuna, the thing that none of us like dealing with, and can be a real run killer very quickly.
Yeah, you get there just a little bit too early, not quite high enough level, not quite enough gear, and it'll just one-shot your party. And down goes Elder Lavo Spawn. And a haste helm and a safe helm.
Wow. I believe that haste helm will be going on Chrono. Oh, but he's got a prism helm. And the blue mail he's already got on there. Okay, he has 2.
Okay, so yeah, he's got he was running with a vigil hat and a prism helm and an amulet, so he had full party status protection.
Right.
That's not bad. And here's where the boss rush is ending. That was the final of the 3 mini-bosses in a row. He's on his way to Zeal.
Yep, right after this panel fight, he'll get a save point, and then he'll be fighting Zeal.
Yeah, Dr. Cossack taking, I believe this is the 2nd elevator ride.
Yep, so he'll have a couple more screens to go through, and then he'll be at Terra Mutant. It's really quite close.
It is.
If anything goes wrong whatsoever for Future in these fights, it's going to be a real toss-up really quickly. Once you begin that Zeal fight, you can spend a lot of time in there before, if you have to reset, you're losing a lot of minutes.
Oh, it looks like he's just going, all in on the water absorb armor. He does not want to take that hexagon mist death.
Yeah, it's okay to have a healthy fear of hexagon mist.
I won't blame anyone for it. Like I said, you're not careful, just wipes you.
Moon is saying that Safe Helm helps for hexagon mist. I've never heard that before.
So hexagon mist, as Zeal casts it, is a magical water attack that deals physical damage.
Oh, interesting.
It's a little bit of a weird twist.
It's a physical water attack. That is interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So getting a question about what is Jets of Time in chat. So Jets of Time is an open world randomizer for Chrono Trigger. You start off with the epic and a couple of characters, and you then start doing checks to find additional characters and key items to increase the number of checks you can do until you unlock either Ocean Palace or Black Omen, and work your way through to beat, in this flag set, either Zeal 2 or Lavos. That would be the win condition here.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. What Taco's saying about Halation will cancel those protections anyways, and usually that goes off before Hexagon Mist does. Usually, not always.
Yeah, so Halation is based on the amount of health you take off her. So if you can take down 10,000 health, which is half of her health, then, we're getting some Delta attacks going on screen. If you can take down 10,000 health, it kind of messes with her battle script a little bit, and she won't cast Hexagon Mist. It'll sort of like reset her from the top. And if you go long enough in the fight, she'll cast it again. But if you have enough damage to put out, 10,000 damage before she casts Hexagon Mist, it's not likely that she'll get a chance to cast it the second time around.
I see.
Yeah, so really just depends how hard you can hit.
Cossack is right at Terra Mutant now. He just needs to kill these panels, save, and then he'll be facing off with Terra Mutant.
Yeah, he's only a couple of screens away from the end fight as well. He's getting close. As the Mammon machine goes down on Future Force's side. Sadly, of course, Future Force does not have Magus in the party, so he gets the regular boss music. If you get here with Magus in the party, you get the special music.
Yeah, which I'm personally a big fan of. But Magus, maybe not the best in this fight overall, just because he doesn't heal and he doesn't have the best single target attacks. So he has great AoE, but not the best single target.
Magus is, infinitely useful for getting to Zeal 2 because you just want those, high-powered screen wipes. On Zeal 2, just like you said, you try to do full AoE attacks, you're going to hit the hands, and it's just going to be a mess. You want that single target damage.
Yeah. Hitting the hands is not recommended ever. I don't know if there's a strategy guide out there that tells you to, but
I hope not. I sincerely hope not.
First thing you're going to want to do is level up to level 80. Then attack the hands.
Yeah, level up to level 80, cheat in an entire stack of mega elixirs.
Yes.
Actually, they take like such little damage from anything. Like they have massive damage reduction. Killing the hands would just be a nightmare.
Yeah, I think I've heard it's possible, but only technically.
Yes, technically correct. The best kind of correct.
Yeah.
All right, Terra Mutant going down. So we're about to see Elder Lavos spawn again on Dr. Cossack's screen.
That's right. Yeah, and I was going to say, I hope he goes down first to save, but he may be thinking there's a save point coming up, but there is not. So if he doesn't get this fight dealt with and has to reset, he's going to have to refight Terra Mutant now.
Do you know if he has Uzi Punch on Robo? He probably does by now.
We're going to find out very soon here.
Yeah, because he'll have a little bit easier time with this fight, just because Magus tends to do more physical damage than Marl or Luca, and then of course Robo and Chrono both have pretty strong single-target physical attacks.
Correct. He has a better setup for this.
Yeah, getting some Fire Sword 2 action on Zeal 2 here.
Yeah,
maybe not the strongest tech, but it does hit pretty hard. Oh, there's the halation.
Yeah, so that means he's got Steel 2 to half health.
And I did not see a Hexagon Mist come out. Oh, no. that was clutch, that elixir.
So what you're saying is that if you get her to halation before she Hexagon Mists, it'll reset the script?
Yeah, it's I don't know if it resets the script from the top or changes to a separate script from half health down, but it will prevents her. It will delay Hexagon Mist enough that if you're already putting out that much damage, you're not likely to see it.
I hear you. Okay.
Yeah, Moon, of course, bringing up in chat that there are some strats you can use because you already know you're about to get halation and MP bustered, that you can time an Antipode 3 after halation, before MP buster, and just get some extra sort of penalty-free damage in. We are probably going to be coming up on time real soon.
Yeah, she is not far from death here. And Future just managing this fight like so well. He's making it look easy, and it's not.
Yeah, this is another one of those where if you keep on top of the healing, you keep your characters topped off, you can keep the fight manageable, but once it starts to go out of control, once the fight goes off the rails, it's hard to recover.
Very, yeah.
But yeah, he's doing an excellent job keeping everything under control. That Lavo spawn has to be close to dead too. Oh, there's a GG for Future.
Yep, GG for Future. He's the winner with 2 hours and 13 minutes and 27 seconds. Dr. Cossack is not far behind at all.
No, Elder Lavos spawned down. He's got, what, one panel fight followed by the boss? Very, very close race.
That's right. Now, sure we could do an interview, but I don't know how to get him in here. Oh, he's in. Future, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, GG, man. Good run.
Hit and miss for a minute there.
So how did you feel the seed treated you overall?
I don't think I can say that on the air, can I? There were a few I was a little bit upset, but got through it.
Yeah, I mean, not too bad, all things considered. You didn't have to do woe.
For a brief, I thought I had to do Dactyl Nest, and then I remembered I hadn't done Retinite.
Yeah, for sure. I was wondering when you got both pieces of the sword and then saw Frog at the burrow, kind of what was going through your mind there.
That was really simple. What was going through my mind there was no.
Yeah, I saw that hard reset out from the burrow.
It was he's a moat was what I was thinking right there.
Yeah, I was thinking as you got closer and closer to running out of checks, so if you didn't get pendant at Retinite, you would have been forced to go pick up Frog, I think.
Yeah, everything I could to avoid having to see Magus' castle. It wasn't on my list of priorities today.
Yeah, but that reset paid off for you, so.
I'm curious, did Cossack also get magic early?
Not as early, but yes.
Okay.
Actually, I think he might have gone for magic just a little bit just after. I think he picked up his third character first and then went for magic.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I did it so early because I wanted to see if I could get an AoE spell for everybody's favorite Nugget Head fight. It paid off.
You did, and it paid off.
Boy, did I. Don't think I've ever used so many ethers in the cathedral.
Yeah, and that was a very smart move on your part, buying so many ethers at the beginning, because you really needed them.
Yeah, that's normally the sort of number I aim for. I think I overbought on mid-tonics this time, but ethers, I was about right.
Yeah, this was an MP heavy early seed, but it paid off.
Also, I'm so glad I decided to switch from Magus to Mal. Even though I wasn't sure about it, I looked at her abilities and was like, yeah, I can run this.
Yeah, once you did that, you gained a bit of an edge because your damage output was just plainly higher.
Yeah, I was thinking about the mutant fights. Being
also,
pretty sure I was going to get forced that way.
Also having haste, of course.
Haste was nice.
Yeah, I think the only concern at that point was Elder Lavos spawn, where you need that single target damage and the Antipode team falls down a little bit.
Yeah, thankfully, Haste and Chrono and Confuse and a Slasher 2 did the job.
That it did. So, you don't hate me too much, do you, for this seed?
Just be careful whenever you decide to race.
Oh, I'm doomed. I look forward to this day.
We'll make sure that future rolls for Aang. Yeah.
I deserve that. I'm okay with this.
It's at least it wasn't like a 100% collection type seed, but it was pushing it. It was definitely pushing it. Of course,
it wasn't too bad.
We have Dr. Cossack coming up on Zeal 2 now to finish her off, and I'm sure he'll have no problem. He has strong attacks and good healing.
Yeah.
Well, I think I will take my leave and let you commentate his final battle then.
Well, congratulations again, and maybe we'll see each other down the road somewhere. Well, who knows?
Oh, I hope not.
As you advance.
All right, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
GG, man. Good run. Yeah, Dr. Cossack went through Mammon Machine and Zeal 1 pretty fast, so... Ooh, Chrono going down quick, getting sniped by a Skygate Lightning and one of the shadow beams from the hands.
Yeah, it's always dangerous in here if you don't have good... like we were saying, you might want something like Blackmail to deal with some of those laser beams. It'll heal you up. So...
Yeah, it's... This fight, like we were saying, if it gets ahead of you, it can be hard to get back on track. but he recovered nicely from that. Starting into a confuse and dark bomb pattern, it looks like. Robo, of course, has heal beam. Good, solid party heal. Though it is always a shame when you have to stand by with Robo and not attack, and he's got the ribbon.
That's right. Yeah, he's a good multi-purpose tool, but he only comes one turn at a time.
Yeah, that losing that 25% damage bonus by having to use him to heal it sets you back a little. But yeah, and Confuse and Dark Bomb are still doing solid damage here.
Yeah, plenty of damage.
Getting about 2,200 per turn. More now that he's throwing Uzi punches into the mix.
Yeah, Trenton and chat makes a very good point, and both runners had great times on a seed like this, especially where they really had quite a runaround to deal with at the very beginning. But
yeah, I liked how
they blasted their way through the end. Go ahead.
Oh, they really did. I liked how they did some pretty divergent routes at the start, and still ended up here at largely the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really hard to know exactly how it was going to go, and Future just pulled ahead just by that little bit. It's not a huge gap between them at all. So
yeah, and honestly, I think it was that choice to go directly to the trial and skip out on the rest of Future, Son of Sun and the like, that really made the big difference in the end.
Absolutely.
And you see Dr. Cossack also skipping Hexagon Mist here.
Yeah, so he's got her down. Well, now she's probably only got about 9,000 health left. Shouldn't take too long.
No, not at this point.
So now, of course, Future is going to proceed to round 3. We're actually in round 2, technically.
Oh yeah, there was that one weird buy-round week.
Yes. He's going to face either Booze Wizard or Zelfer. And Dr. Cossack's going to move into losers round 2. And we'll have to see who he faces there. We still have another race before that to determine.
Yeah, a Future Force versus a Booze Wizard or Zelfer run. That'll be a good race. Looking forward to that one.
Very entertaining indeed. Booze Wizard has been with us for a very long time and has a very intimate knowledge of the game.
He's actually go ahead.
He's one of those players, like we were discussing earlier, who likes to play with the glitches on. So the strategies that he loves to use, they tend to he has to put them on the side for races, because of course we don't race with glitches on.
Yeah, so Booze Wizard is actually the one that got me into the randomizer. I used to watch him play Super Metroid and Link to the Past, and then one day I come into his stream, it's like, wait, there's a Chrono Trigger randomizer?
Oh, and there's our time for Dr. Cossack.
Oh, GG. And it looks like his finish time is a 2:23:15. Yeah, definitely GG, Dr. Cossack. Good run. See if we can maybe get him in here for an interview. I'm actually not sure how that happens. It just Future Force just kind of magically appeared in here.
He did magically appear, yeah. There may be a link in your private messages from the SpeedGaming bot, Dr. Cossack. It might give you a link in here. So we'll wait a minute or two and see if we can get that happening. Otherwise, I don't know if I have any final thoughts. I kind of wanted to see a Magus Castle, but that's a little cruel. But it was possible in this seed.
Yeah, that could have happened. Actually, I don't know that Dr. Cossack ever actually went to the burrow, so he may not know that Frog was there.
It's automatic when you hit down on the tracker, okay?
Looks like done was hit. Looks like we are not going to get an interview with Dr. Cossack today. Anyway, GG to both runners. That was a fantastic race.
Yeah, fantastic race. And we have one coming up tomorrow that everyone should look out for. It is at 4 o'clock Eastern. And not sure what channel it's going to be on yet, but either SpeedGaming 1 or 2. So that's tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. And that's between Moon Blizzard and Artemis Dragmire.
Yeah, looking forward to that one.
All right, well, it was a pleasure commentating with you, Angarel. And
yeah, it's been fun.
The rest of the tournament, I'm really looking forward to it. We've got a lot of matches coming up, so...
Yeah, a lot of good runners. Again, if anyone here saw this and thought to themselves, I really want to try this myself, feel free to stop by. I think that was the command. That is indeed the command.
Yep. Yeah, thanks for watching, everyone, and see you again soon.
Yep. Take it easy. Thanks, Brocky.